Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. To our webinar, Leveraging Security with the Threat Investigation. We will start in 4 minutes, so everybody to come in. Let me write this announcement on the chat so everyone can hear it. We will start in 4 minutes now. All right, let's get started, everyone. I hope you can hear me well and see my screen. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to have you join us today for this much anticipated webinar on leveraging security with threat investigation. We recognize that security is no longer an optional extra or nice to have. It is a crucial component for every successful organization, integral so it is smooth functioning. As digital transformation, especially with the ChatGPT and AI advances at a rapid pace, so too does the sophistication of the cyber threats, making it every more imperative to understand how to effectively leverage security measures. This is why we are today discussing. Today's discussion is very important. As you know, my name is Ensar Şeker. I'll be your host today again. I work for the CISO. Some of you guys know me. Some of you may be new for this webinars. We do also Cyber Watch series monthly. There are a lot of people are joining us monthly. What happened in the dark and the surface web? every month we are taking 10 most important cyber incidents, new threat actors, new platforms, new tools, new tactics we are trying to talk about every month. So you are welcome to join to our cyber war series. This is not one of them. This is a specific topic for leveraging security with threat investigation. Um, we will be into the real threat investigation, examining how it can be used for bolster your security posture. We are going to delve deep into the practical and innovative methods to identify, investigate, and respond emerging threats. The webinar is designed with you or attendees in mind. We want to empower your knowledge and techniques and strategies, significantly improve your threat detection and response capabilities. By the end of the session, we aim for you have a firmer grasp on the most effective ways to leverage security through threat investigation, mitigating potential risk for your organization, and to make the session as interactive as possible. We encourage your participation. Feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A session, and our team of experts, also me, if I cannot respond, try to respond to every question asked by you. Without any further ado, let's dive into this fascinating world of cybersecurity through the effective threat investigation. Thank you once again for joining me today. Your active participation will make this event more impactful and worthwhile. And let's get started. So I'd like to start why we need threat intelligence, threat investigation, and threat hunting. To be honest with you guys, I am not prepared for this webinar today. I opened the PowerPoint at the beginning, thinking the whole day. I'm connecting from Istanbul, Turkey, 5 p.m. in Turkey. I don't know what time is in your time zone. Since from morning, I was thinking, what should I put this webinar to this presentation? I thought a lot, but I don't want to bore you with the academic or theoric information knowledge. So I thought maybe instead of talking about some theoric or academic perception, let's put our hands on the real threat investigation, how we do this, how we do threat finding, and give real examples. So I'm trying to do most of my job in showing you how to do this. But there are a couple of things before I started hands-on part to explain to you why we need to do this, why it is important. This is going to be the webinar that I'm not really prepared. So if there's a technical difficulties, please forgive me, because as I said, I'm going to totally do it. Whatever I feel it, I'll do that. I didn't prepare for anything because I want to do the investigation with you to show you if there's a difficulty. I want you to see that. That's not a problem. If there's a technical problem, I want you to see that. So I want this webinar to be different to show you some hands-on. So there are for cyber threat intelligence that for sure we need cyber threat intelligence. In 2002, there was a U.S. Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld. He was famously broke down the threats into the 3 categories. Actually, you can see the 4 on the screen, but he actually mentioned 3 of them. Later, other people put the 4th one. Basically, he says this is the 3 categories of knowability. He was referring to the national intelligence, actually. And he said known knowns are the threats we are fully aware of. Known unknowns are the things we don't know. And finally, unknown unknowns, those are threats that we don't even know that we know. We don't know. So the most dangerous one for this scenario, as you can understand, is the unknown unknowns. Those threats that we don't know even know we don't know. He summarized that. This is where threat intelligence actually comes in. Yeah, what we are trying to do is knowing unknown knowns to known to the organizations. Actually, while Rumsfeld was relating the question, as I said, to the national security and intelligence in Iraq, I believe he was stating this. His mind bending and tongue twisting classifications apply equally well to the cybersecurity. In fact, they serve as a valuable framework for thinking about the layers of the defense. Every enterprise needs to protect its networks and systems from threats where known knowns, known unknowns, or even unknown unknowns. We have to be we have to be careful and have to understand those terminology and these threats. As I said, most of the dangerous ones in this category are known unknown threats. So if we're talking about the known knowns from the known known perspective, what we are talking about, even for the most veteran internet users, it is hard to remember when the net was new and the sites were few. That was a long time ago. Similarly, it's hard to remember back to a time where we thought that the full of viruses and malwares was knowable and finite. That was again a long time ago. But the threat landscape is constantly changing. Early antivirus solutions aimed to block known viruses. However, as the list grew longer and the progressively less manageable antivirus solutions also grew more sophisticated, able to recognize patterns and signatures as well as individual viruses. The introduction of the firewalls came later, which filter known elements that are recognizable as malicious and complemented antivirus solutions, forming then strong basic layer of perimeter protection against the known malware. So this category, we know known knowns, and we can use, as I said, next generation antiviruses and next generation firewalls. There are also known unknowns. For those, most of the time we are using to protect us URL filtering and sandboxes. With time, the number of viruses and malware grew too extensive to list. Malware developers began leveraging small variations to render known threats undetectable, much as bacteria, as I said, develop mutations that render the antibiotic resistant. While these threats are not fully known, security solutions known they are out there, even if your organization is not knowing them, as I said, their security solutions, these products you are filtering sandboxes, those are known by them and are familiar with their general profile and offer some protection from these known unknown threats. So URL filters, for instance, enable enterprises to simply block site deemed risky or unnecessary for business, thus protecting endpoints and network from unknown threats that might lurk on those sites. Also, sandboxes we use a lot. I believe you use it a lot in your environment as well to analyze the especially malwares doing reverse engineering represents somewhat more nuanced approach to the known unknown challenge, providing a safe space in which files run until malware reaching outdated and makes itself known. And the most important thing for us, at least from my perspective, since I work for the cyber threat intelligence company, unknown unknowns. The trouble is that not all web-borne threats are known or even known to be unknown. The internet is teeming with the unknown unknowns, whole host of fast evolving malware and other exploits that are unrecognized by any invisible to antivirus network filters, intrusion detection prevention systems, and other classic defense solutions. Traditional decision-based security approaches, which depends on recognizing how the malware your system is likely to encounter, looks like and behaves, simply cannot defend against the myriad unknown threats that lurk on the web. So one of the solution organizations from unknown and unknowable dangers from internet is remote browse isolation. That could be one of the solutions. As I said, RBI renders our browser executable code remotely, so potentially risky files or code never reach to the user device or organization systems. But from threats investigation and threat intelligence perspective, as I said, the most, how can I say, the most you can do for your organization for unknown threats, we believe, is threat intelligence, threat investigation, and threat hunting. Here's why. In my next step, I'm trying to explain it. So if you guys remember, if you have a long story in the cybersecurity, I have more than 15 years, 16 plus years experience in cybersecurity. there used to be reactive approach in cybersecurity. So what we used to do is we just monitor the traffic. If there is an anomaly on the traffic, we then responded. What is going on? What happened? Why there's an anomaly? What is the cause? How we can fix the anomaly? That's it. So we call this reactive. Then people change their strategy to proactive, because reactive strategy is wasn't enough. The cyber threat intelligence, not intelligence, cyber threat landscape was changing, and the attackers were more aggressive, I could say. So they changed their strategy to proactive. As far as I remember, I used to work for NATO as a cyber advisor between 2016 and 2018. And at that time, NATO changed its cybersecurity strategy. And in NATO's cybersecurity strategy, NATO said, okay, from now on, as you know, most of the organizations, defense departments, they don't use the attack or hacking or attacking something could trouble them in a legal way. So they don't like those terms. So NATO also changed strategy from defense, from reactive defense to proactive defense. They didn't say we are going to attack threat actors. They said, okay, we are going to change our strategy from reactive to proactive. But nowadays, we can see that, especially for the organizations, maybe changing strategy from reactive to proactive could help the NATO, because it's a huge organization. They have huge budgets. They have sophisticated cyber threats defenses. But for other organizations, proactive strategy isn't enough. It has to be predictive. So where, as you can see on the screen, at that time, to be predictive, proactive is like, as I said, in reactive, you are just monitoring the network and responding if there is something anomaly. With the proactive, you are actually doing more than that. You're not just monitoring your internal network, you're also monitoring your outside, what's going on. You're getting more information from the outside. Just monitoring inside wouldn't be enough, of course. But right now, that's just analyzing your environment also not enough, the strategy. You have to know what new tactics and techniques are threat actors are using. As I said, we are doing the Cyber Watch series every month, and every month I'm trying to find interesting new techniques and tools, new groups, how they try to develop new strategies to hack the systems. They are very creative, by the way. So analyzing these things and hunting down, like it was 3 months ago, we as a threat intelligence company, Sokradar, we have a team, threat hunters team. We actually lead the command and control center of one of the threat actors. So this is predictive. Why this is important for us? Because in their command and control center, we saw that how they operate, what kind of information they have. So from this analyze, we tell our customers, okay, this attacks, this threat landscape is changing this way. So the organizations can develop better strategies. If we are not predictive, we cannot provide better intelligence, then just being proactive wouldn't be enough. I used to live in the United States. I was watching a lot of cop TV shows. Maybe you guys did as well. I was very surprised because there was one of the episodes that the cops going to one street. There are some criminals over there. They leave a car there and with the keys on it. The doors are open and they just leave. And from the top of the roofs, the cops are watching with their camera and everything. So the criminals, they're coming. They're seeing there's a car, the doors are open, the keys on it. So they try to steal the car, but they have mechanism, the cops. After they turn on the car, they move a little bit. They can stop it from the remote control, and they can lock the doors, and they can go and arrest the guy. So this was very strange for me because this is very proactive, very proactive approach to catch the criminals, because most of the time in my country, for example, the police don't do that. If there's a criminal case, they of course catch it, but this is a very proactive approach. You are not just going and catching the guys, you are actually creating a scene to catch the bad guys. So in cyber world, cyber threat intelligence companies actually should do the same thing to be proactive. For those, as you know, we are doing the honeypots. Maybe I wanted to mention a little bit about the honeypots maybe later, if I have time at the webinar. We are opening a honeypots. Actually, this webinar is not enough. I was given a cyber threat intelligence training 2 weeks ago again. I showed the guys in there, they were a little excited about this threat honeypot. With the honeypot, you are creating a replica and you're inviting actually the threat actors to come and try to hack. They think they are hacking the real system, but actually there's nothing there. There's no valuable data, but you are creating a very good architecture. It looks like legitimate business, legitimate data center, let's say. They try to hack there and you are monitoring it. How they do that? Like what kind of techniques and tools and strategies they use. This is very impressive. So this is the same technique. You are being proactive. And with the proactive, this is proactive threat hunting actually. It is not the proactive section, it's the predictive section. So with this analysis, we can provide for ourselves or for our customers as well, what is the way is going? Because without doing this predictive movements, proactive movements, there is no way you can provide this information. So that's why threat intelligence, threat investigation, and threat hunting plays a critical and very important role. So what kind of data would be used when you do the threat investigation? You guys already know this terminology and the sources. The main thing, the threat intelligence or threat hunting, we get information from the, of course, cybersecurity products, firewalls, IDSs, IPSs, EDRs, or with the name XDR, CM, SOARs. And the other thing is we, as an SOC teams, we get after the incident, there's forensic reports, incident response reports, and we get also information from that. There is also non-genetic data sources. That's the most important part for the cyber threat intelligence platforms is the OSINT, open source intelligence, with the subcategories, or they could be the main categories. It's up to you. Social media engineering, community engineering, technical engineering, dark web monitoring is critical. Instant message monitoring, especially as you know, with the Telegram cyber threat actors move from the dark web. They want to move from dark web to the Telegram channels or Discord channels. They use the lot because most of the people still somehow they don't want to get into the dark web. They think login accessing to the dark web is illegal. They can get in trouble. They can be monitored by the law enforcement agencies. So most of the people, even the security guys, like I know a lot of security guys around me. I talk to them sometimes. Some of my friends, they never been in the dark web so far. And I'm asking the guy, why have you ever never wondered like what's going on in the dark web? Never used Tor browser? And he or she says, no, I never tried because I thought maybe I could get in trouble. I don't want to go there. So most of the people, dark web still a place they don't want to go. But what this special recipe operators, what they want to do, they want to publish to hack the company, right? Like they let's say they hack the company A, and they want to publish, announce this to everyone because they want to get a payment. If they cannot announce this properly, at that time, they cannot get enough attention. And if they cannot get enough attention, they cannot get the money from the company. So this ransomware operators especially thought, okay, if we announce this on the dark web, They are keep announcing on the dark web. They have private web pages, by the way. They didn't give up from that part. But at the same time, what they do is they use Telegram. They do the announcements, they establish channels, Discord, because most of the people, it is accessing Telegram or Discord is not a problem. It is not illegal. Everything is fine. So most of the threat actors, they move from dark web, not move, but they use both. Let's say they use dark web and Telegram. So Telegram and Discord, especially, very important for us. We're trying to monitor, for example, more than 2,000 Telegram channels. Can you believe 2,000 Telegram channels we are monitoring at the SOC radar? Not, of course, all same. There are some, we divided them to the categories. For example, there's a category A. Those are the most important ones. They had to monitor 7/24 hours. And there are category B. They had to monitor once in a day, maybe. There are category C. They had to monitor every month, maybe. But what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of open source intelligence out there, and we are trying to collect information as much as possible to be predictive again from this channels, instant messages, and servers. The other thing is there are some organizations, they share information intelligence companies or certs, they especially US cert share a lot of information about their findings, threat intelligence. There are some CTI sharing platforms, maybe some of you guys using like Alien Vault, ABCH, something like that. So as I said, instead of talking about the theory, as far as I believe I could explain how threat intelligence, threat investigation, and threat hunting is important. I want to like do one example, which is a specific example. In our last CyberWatch series, we talk about the snake malware. This is not my statement. This is the statement from CISA, from United States CISA. They said this is the so far most advanced cyber espionage malware. As I said, this statement was given by the CISA, not by me. So even based on the CISA, according to the CISA, the snake implement is considered most sophisticated cyber espionage tool and used by the 16th of Russian Federal Security Service Bureau, FSB. I think it is equal to FBI in the United States. It's for long-term intelligence collection and sensitive targets. I want to analyze the snake malware with you today from the other sources, and I'm going to show you from the SOC radar perspective, both how we can analyze this threat. For example, I want to show you that because, as I said, this is considered one of the most advanced and sophisticated malware. To conduct this operation, they use the peer-to-peer network. They use the FSP. This is the statement again given by the CISA, not by me. The FSP created covert peer-to-peer network to numerous snake-infected computers worldwide. Many systems in this PEP network serve as a relay nodes, which route discrete operational traffic to and from snake implements on the FSP's ultimate targets. Snake's custom communication protocols employ encryption and fragmentation for confidentiality and are designed to hamper detection and collection efforts. As a summary, Snake is a modular info stealer and keylogger that was initially discovered in 2020, developed using the .NET programming language. It exhibits similarity with the Agent Tesla, Formbook. Maybe you heard of those malwares. And there's also MATIX malware. Maybe some of you remember. This is the similar malware families. This three malware, Snake, Agent Tesla, Formbook, MATIX, those are in the same families, malware families. What Snake poses is a significant risk to privacy due to its ability to exfiltrate a broad range of data. It is capable of capturing the keyboard movements, clipboard hijacking, credential theft, screen recording, with the snakes capable of stealing credentials from over 50 applications, including popular web browsers like uh, FileZilla, such as, and there are also some other similar applications. More than 50 applications is affected by this snake malware, and most of them, as I said, collecting credentials. Um, the keylogger is also notable due to its ability to exfiltrate data through the multiple protocols like FTP, SMTP, Telegram also. Additionally, Snake collects system information, including the hardware configuration, name, operating system version of the infected machine, utilizing the system's IP addresses and date, time information. It identifies the geolocation of the machine it operates on. And some of the snake samples, I'm going to show you in a little bit in the Environ. I'm going to open the Environ and show you how snake operates to show you the live. Utilizing the IP systems and the data time information, it identifies the geolocation of the machine it operates on. And some snake samples, though not all, use this data to activate the kill switch. Such behavior is common for the malware originated from ex-USSR region, typically avoiding the targets within nearby countries. Because as you know, if it's originated from Russia, they don't want to affect the ex-USSR region most of the time. The threat of snake infection is not confined to the specific industries or geographical areas. Based on some reports, it has potential to affect all major platforms, which include the main operating systems, Windows, Linux. More recently, Mac OS also affected by the snake malware. In addition, Snake is highly popular, if often competes with the agent Tesla, as I said. Snake is readily available as a malware service on the underground forums with the pricing range from the $25 to $500. It is not that expensive, as you can see, for such complexity and sophistication. Just $25 maximum. The price we saw is $500 US. The synthetic scaler comes equipped with the anti-evasion capabilities. This is the most common things with the recent malware. The threat actors constantly focus on the evasion of the, like, bypassing the new generation antiviruses and firewalls, even EDR systems. Most of the threat actors are focused on that. So when they develop malware, they also develop these anti-detection systems, and they develop very interesting strategies, very interesting tools. To be honest, based on our analysis, we also analyze this for the snake malware. Snake malware also can terminate process related to antivirus and network analysis tools such as Avast and Wireshark. Upon completing the initial process, Snake secures its persistence by duplicating itself into the app data folder under a random name, generating a scheduled task configuration with a temporary directory and initiating a scheduled task. What is more, it possesses the ability to self-delete from the system, post data exfiltration, employing deletion command with the 3-second timer. So, should I stay here? Oh, I want to mention also this part is very important. Then I'm going to switch to my browser to show you the run analyze for the snake malware. When we do the threat hunting and threat investigation, of course, the most used tool for us, and everybody should be very familiar, is MITRE ATT&CK matrix framework. It's extremely useful tool for threat hunters, and it has to be used. It has to be very well understood. We also give training about the MITRE ATT&CK framework, how to use it. We use it all the time. This is such a great framework. It's very helpful, very useful. As I said, we use all the time for all threat investigations. Everything is that it's not just initial access, as you know. That's the amazing part for the Mitra attack matrix. It shows you how the attacker behave inside your network. You can see that from the Mitra attack matrix with the map. For me, visualization is very important because instead of, as I said, I don't like the theory too much, academic. I love academic, of course, I am doing my PhD, publishing a lot of papers, but this is just a theory. I want to show you how it's going in real life. So the Mitra attack framework give me that map, that visualization, how a threat actor actually moves inside of a server or network. I can see on a map. So with this map on the screen, you can see for the Snake malware use a variety of tactics and techniques as illustrated by Dimitri. The key strategies are exploiting client vulnerabilities for initial success. This is the first thing they do. Extracting credentials from files and password stores, querying the system registry, and collecting local emails. It also uses tool transfer and mail protocols for command and control and exfiltration purposes. Notably, a significant proportion of events, 270, involve stealing credentials from the files. As it comes with the malware as a service families, as you know, as the services are increasing like dramatically, I would say. I hope I didn't use the word too big word, but I did. Dramatically is a good word to describe this. Ransomware as a service, malware as a service, phishing as a service. The operators, the threat actors are developing NIF as a services, and recent malware as a service is very common, and that's also increasing very highly. So Snake also distributes with the malware as a service, with the through mass email phishing campaigns and targeted spear phishing. It is known to arrive via infected Microsoft Office documents or PDFs, mostly typically embedded in the payments-related messages. Upon the user extraction index executable, it processes the decode and decrypt the base 64 payload, which is contained with the string variable. Users are recommended to remain vigilant when downloading payment receipts, especially or any documents from the unfamiliar sender. So please be careful. Key signs of the phishing attempts to look out for include poor grammar, manipulative messaging, and unusually high number of the typos for the professional email. But to be honest with you, I'm going to refer to Cyber War series again. Maybe I referred too much, sorry about that. But in the last Cyber War series, I also mentioned that the new phishing as a service platforms, they hire linguistic professionals. So we are not going to see the poor grammars and like typos for the phishing, because they understood the people easily can detect it, phishing emails with these things. In my last webinar with the Cyber War, I shared my analysis. One of the analyses was the people who are serious about giving a good phishing as a service platform, those threat actors, they hire, we saw the post on the dark web, they're for looking for linguistic people, and they prepare the phishing as a service platform for different languages. So if you want to use for your local language, you can easily change the template and you can use it. And that's why they're looking for the people who knows different languages, and they want to make sure their platform provides a good quality grammar and without typo, so they can con the people much more easier. So this was the first thing we start using the Mitra attack framework, how they operate with the Snake malware as an example, our threat investigation. From here, I'll stop to share my screen, and I want to show you the Enron. The second thing is we have to analyze this malware to get the IOCs. As you know, most of the time IOCs you can get it anywhere. You need to know indication of attacks. Actually, IOA are much more critical and important if you ask my opinion. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, I hope you can see my screen again. This is the snake malware. I'm going to show you the video. Snake malware analysis. We done this with the Enron. So most of the time in phishing emails, you already know, their most common attack vector is the phishing, either spear phishing or regular phishing. And with the phishing, most of the time they use extensions, not extensions, I'm sorry, attachments. And most of the time attachments are either Word documents or the PDFs. So we really need to be careful if an email has an attachment or a link. As you know, I also work for as a CISO for my organization, Socrates. So the most horrifying emails for me is the emails with the attachments and with the links, because when people do not pay attention to that, they can easily affect their computer and the company's network, of course. Can I share the link with you? Maybe you can. Let me share the link. I'm not sure if I can, because this is the pro version of any one. I'm not sure if you can use the link to, because there are a lot of, as you can see the IOCs and the other details in here. Let me share the link with you. Maybe you can check it out yourself. But maybe anyone could ask the pro accounts to analyze this. So the first thing is, as a threat investigation, the one thing is we do, as you can see, is analyzing this malware sample via using the tools. What is going on? What are the IOCs? What are the more than IOCs for me, more than as a CISO, IOAs are very important, but that requires a different analysis, as you know. This is not possible with this tool. But of course, I have to implement this IOCs. Actually, this is just three. Okay, just for this document. This is not for entire snake. Just for this example, selected.docrtf. This is the IOCs just for that. I thought maybe it is the for entire snake malware. Just 3 IOC cannot be happen. Other tool we use. Oh, come. That's not a problem. There it is. So for snake malware, this is another analysis I'd like to share with you. There's a one PDF.exe file name. I put the download. I put the sample here with the 15 vendors. As you can see, this was detected as a malicious. So this also malware bazaar, we use it a lot for threat investigation. Ask the different vendors like Enron, Cape Sandbox, hybrid analyzes. Let me check the hybrids results. 11%, 25%, those are very low. Why do we need more than one vendor? Like we can see the hash for 256 MD5 SHA-1, because most of the time they provide different information. Like some of the hashes indicate compromises or IOCs, I could say. You can find any run, you cannot find any checkdown. So we need different tools to scan and give us different results, then we have to combine them. As you know, Yara and Sigma rules are very critical for us to eliminate this kind of threats, which we have here. Case went down, good. IOCs. Let me share this link with you as well. Maybe you can open it. I'm not sure. If you cannot, I'm sorry. To do your own research, I want to share. So you can ask, why are you showing this? What is the meaning of that? What we are trying to do is actually in the behind. We are trying to do the investigation, threat investigation. But in the end, I'm going to show you this. There is no, maybe you have dedicated threat hunting team. I don't know. They can do it. But it is not easy actually to do the threat hunting and using all different tools and different techniques. Instead of, I'm going to show you on the stock radar with the snake malware, how all-in-one can solution give you the results. You don't have to come here to analyze, because the threat intelligence and predictive threat intelligence should and have to give you the results for you ready in front of you. You don't have to come to use all these tools to do the threat hunting. But if you understand what's going on behind, I thought maybe you can better understand. It is not just tools, it is actually, we have to go and do the investigation. So let me show you a couple of more tools. For us, when we do the investigation, there are three things important for us. As you know, in cyber threat intelligence, there are three things. Those are very important for the doing the investigation. Three modules most of the time. Attack surface management. We have to start with the attack surface management, because from a threat actor's perspective, what we do is we don't know anything about your organization. Let's say I'm a black hat hacker, right? I want to attack an organization, do the ransomware maybe, or anything. But I need to have to collect information about this organization. I know nothing about it because I'm outside. I don't work for the organization. So the first thing is I have to do is do the attack surface. My screen is here. Attack surface, it has to be. So what tools do I have used for that? I have to find what vulnerabilities this organization has. And for that, I have to use the attack surface, what kind of attack surface they have. Like, for example, the tools we use behind is, for example, let's test the SOC radar IO. For example, I want to do the attack the SOC radar, right? I know nothing about stock radar. So what I do is to get some information. How can I find the vulnerabilities on the stock radar? I have to find what kind of attack surfaces do the stock radar have. And for that, I use some tools. This is one of them. I have to check their DNS records. I have to check their who is in the records. I have to check their what kind of IPs they have, what kind of um, third parties they use in their system. But I have to check their SSL certification. Maybe their SSL is expired. If you guys remember, once Microsoft SSL certification were expired for the admin panel, and hackers can easily collect data from the admin's credentials because there was no secure encrypted connection, just because Microsoft forgot to renew their extension. As you can see, I got an A+ score. I'm proud of my company. But you can watch this details. If there was a one problem with this is, by the way, we are doing the open source intelligence. We are just checking. This is open to everyone. The things we are doing so far is nothing illegal. Everything is totally legal because this is open to public. If I can find any vulnerabilities in here, that would be great for me as a black hat hacker. So those are the tools I'm trying to use to make sure if this company has organizations. This is kind of black box, you could say, searching vulnerability. Let's use like who is domain tools. Let's see what I'm gonna see. Yes, I'm not a robot. So this is a kind of bad news for me. As you can see, there's a one Cloudflare register for this organization. This is bad because I cannot know the real IPs of the SOC radar. It is hidden behind the Cloudflare. If it wasn't, maybe I could get a chance to find vulnerabilities. But since SOC radar is using Cloudflare, there is no way I can get the real IPs for SOC radar. So what we are trying to do is, again, from the hacker's perspective, we are trying to find something, anything, to hack this company. We are desperate. What we can do? Let's use another who is domain tool for the SOC radar. Let's see if we can get anything. No, this is about the same. Let's try this. So again, I saw some IPs, as you can see. This Cloudflare is not going to be very helpful for me from the black hat hacker perspective. But maybe those could. Those IP addresses, I have to check it. This is actually I'm trying to show more tools in the cyber threat intelligence trainings. I have to be, I think, faster because I don't have much time. Just I'm trying to show you is how we do the threat hunting actually from the black hat hackers perspective. Because when they try to target your organization, they're going to do the exactly same thing. If you can understand how they try to find vulnerabilities about your organization, we can give you the useful information. Okay, they can find these vulnerabilities about you and you have to stop it. Because they totally have to do it black box if they have no connection as an insider threat. If they have connection, some people in your organization, that's a different story. But if threat actors, they want to target your organization, the first thing is you're going to do is to explore your attack surface and trying to find the vulnerabilities in there. Once they found the vulnerabilities, then they can get initial access. So those are tools I'm trying to show you is the find the vulnerabilities. For example, breach code, any email. If I can find anything, do they have the username and server for? Okay. For example, this is a censored password. That's very good. There's nothing. If I can find any email about the organization, for example, I want to send a phishing email to the SOC radar, right? I expose myself a little bit with this example. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I wrote the wrong email type. You need to know what kind of pattern that organization uses. Like it is first name dot last name, or it is maybe it is without a dot, right? Like this. Maybe it is first letter of the first name and the last name. If you don't know what kind of pattern that organization use as an email, your phishing email is going to be exposed immediately. So there are some tools, especially if you use Kali, they have much better tools. I used this before, but they ask money right now. For example, there's this tool. They used to give, for example, get for us, sorry, that's right. Oh no, you have to create the account. Without creating an account, for example, you do the presentation in somewhere, and you put the in first presentation your email address, right? This tools easily can find, and you put it the slide share later, that presentation. So your that email is open to public. Everybody can see it. And this tools can catch it. If this tools can get it as a black hat hacker, I can get it. When I can get it, I can send a prepare better phishing email because I know you're the pattern. It's first name dot last name dot your company. Because if I send different pattern, people can easily catch it. Another thing from the threat hunter perspective, I can show you to be a little more quick. Alien Vault. This is the place we use a lot. You can get a lot of useful information. But to be honest, free version of the OTX, everybody can put threat intelligence data. That is not useful much. That's why still you can find the useful tools and information in Alien Vault, of course, but when it is free, since there is no filtering about that. Siege, there are very good tools in here. I strongly suggest everyone to come check in here. SSL blacklist, if your SSL is in the blacklist, there is a huge problem in your organization. You can check it here. Malware Bazaar, you can find a lot of malware in this here. Analyzes IR rules. I definitely suggest threat hunters to come here and check it. Exploit DB, maybe you heard of it. You can find latest vulnerabilities in here. So if any organization, they use one of these organizations, if they use HiSec, if they use super socializer on their website, for example, this one, WordPress 10 Medic. If any organization using this application in their website or their organization, that means I can use this as initial access. So basically we use this different tools. Let's just show you this one all in one tool. Maybe you already know it. OSINT framework. You can find a lot of useful tools in here. You don't have to go anywhere. Like if you want to find usernames, emails, domain names, IP addresses, even they have training links in here about the open source intelligence and other things. This is a very you can find the tools, process automation tools and others. If you wonder about the dark web, they have some links in here. I definitely encourage you to come visit this OSINT framework. You have find a lot of useful tools. I want to show you last thing how you can find all those things, all those tools. There are too many tools. I use start.me. Maybe you can use it for bookmarking. Like I have bookmarks for OSINT, just for OSINT tools, more than 15,000 tools, I guess. I don't even have time to check all the tools all the time. It's impossible. So what I'm trying to show you lastly, we started with the snake malware. If we continue from there, snake malware, for example, you need to know about the snake's malware. What threat intelligence can provide you? This is the Socrates platform. You need to get all the information. You don't have to use the different tools, as I said, to analyze for every single malware, every single threat actor. You have to get all the information, and this threat intelligence, predictive threat intelligence solutions has to integrate with your systems and provide the information bi-directional. Shouldn't get an information from your insider organization, but should feed your organization's intelligence. So this is Socrates, how Socrates works. Socrates goes to a lot of tools we are using in the background with our analysts. For example, for snake malware, for keylogger, let's check Lixis. You can see all the IOCs, vulnerabilities, Sigma rules, data rules, analyzes done by our malware analysts manually. If there's any information from the alien vault, as I said, we are checking manually as threat hunters, also automatically. So instead of I'm going to check it manually, by going there, I can find them, all of them in here. I want to show you another cool feature for stock radar. This is like this threat hunting module is like a Google of the stock radar. You can search anything in here, whatever come up to your mind about the threat hunting, and you can get all the information. Let's check the snake malware, for example. Oh, there's public report stories about this. That's interesting. Why are you blocking me, malware? We have also some rules for threat hunting. Again, you can come and check here for the snake malware, for example. whatever we have for sigma error rules, you can get it from here. Let me check this if I can find you better. Vulnerabilities. Well, as you can see, there's 2,940 entries just for snake keylogger. You can get all the information you need for snake malware. This is our 3 modules I want to show. This is for attack surface. You can find whatever the black hat hacker wants to find about you, you can find it here. All the information. For example, if there's one vulnerability on your website, you can find it here. It's going to say you are using this third-party application on your website. There's a vulnerability on there. You need to shut it down. You need to update it. Or, for example, let's say marketing department purchased a domain without your knowledge, without security department's knowledge or IT department's knowledge, and they do the promotion. You're going to get immediately an alert. It's going to say somebody purchased a domain for you. Do you know anything about this? You can use it for phishing, or either one of your departments purchased it without your knowledge. This is a digital risk protection, another module. This is specifically intelligence for your organization, not general, not general information. If there's one specific intelligence about your organization, they are going to attack you, or your data, your specific data is leaked to the dark web. Here's the link. You can find it here. And the cyber threat intelligence is the general intelligence. Most of the time is a threat hunters we are using. There are very useful tools here. So all the information we get it here, as I show you, like you search snake malware, what you're going to do. For example, if you finish the webinar with the snake malware, I try to show you from open source intelligence, like doing the analysis with malware and everything. But you can find all the information without using the Enron or Malware Bazaar. Just using the SOC radar, you can get it, all the information here. But what you are going to do with this information as an incident responder perspective? So that's where I'm going to my presentation again and finish the webinar. No, first I have to share my screen. So I believe you guys use and oh, okay. By the sharing the screen, so you're able to see. I believe you guys are already using this Suricata. It is a incident response and threat detection tool, open source. After all our analysis and everything, we have to develop a strategy. For example, snake malware is a detection rules, right? So for this example, I use Suricata. There are some advantages with the network intrusion detection systems, as you know, network-based, because the advances is high confidence, large-scale network-wide detection of the custom snake communication protocols. There's also disadvantages with the network-based detection. It is low visibility of snake implement operations and encrypted data in transit. There's some potential for false positive in the snake, HTTP, HTTP2, and the TCP signatures. And snake operators can easily change network-based signatures, as you can imagine. But for HTTP snake client to server, HTTP and HTTP2 traffic is contained within the arbitrary HTTP header field. The header field value for HTTP begins with the 10 pure alphanumeric characters, followed by the base64 encoding of 8 bytes, which yields exactly 11 valid base characters, plus 1 base64 parent character, which is you can see on the screen. And let me use this pen if I can use it. Mouse. Spotlight. Vanish pen. Cool, I can use the pen. Right. Yeah, I was talking about this. This one, yes. This one is followed by the Suricata rules detect traffic. If you use this rules in your Suricata, this is going to allow you to detect the snake malware in your system. This one for HTTP, there is also for HTTP2. The header field value for HTTP2 begin with the 22 pure alphanumeric characters, base 62 with non-extraneous characters, followed by the base 62 encoding of at least 8 bytes, which must comprise at least 11 base 62 characters with the 4 extraneous characters allowed. The actual requirement is stricter than this expression, since the total number of non-extraneous characters alone must equal or exactly 11. However, it is not possible to encode that aspect in the regular language, as you can see on the screen, this one, and the following two Suricata roles. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Suricata rules will detect traffic described for HTTP2. There's also TCP. TCP is a little complicated, as you know. The client, the server communication for TCP must begin with UStart, which is not captured in the signature set. Immediately following the UStart, the next client to server communication must be the big endian 32-bit unsigned integer, 8 follows by the 8 bytes of data. The next communication must also be client to server, and it must compromise the big endian 32-bit unsigned integer, 4 followed by the 4 bytes of data. The next two communication must be server to client, compromising integer, 8 follows by the 8 bytes of the data, and integer 4 followed by the 4 bytes of data. Again, those are the Suricata rules. If you are using Suricata rules, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, 5, 6, yes. 6 Suricata rules to detect the snake malware TCP protocols. And other than snake network based, there's a host detection for the snake. There are some also advantages and disadvantages with the host based. For the advantages, it's high confidence based on totality of the positive hits for host based artifacts. The disadvantage is many of the artifacts on the host are easily shifted to the existing different location or with a different name, as files are fully encrypted. Accurately identify these files is difficult. The snake covert store compromise the file back NTFS usually, or FAT63 rarely. Most of the time it's NTFS, like the rest of the file systems. The file system is encrypted with the cast 128 in CBC mode. The encryption key can be either statically hard-coded or dynamically stored in a specific Windows register location. Since cast 228 is a 8-bit block weight, the first byte of the 4 for any 516-byte block of the covert store is in the 0 index block number. The remaining bytes of the 5 are the corresponding bytes of the key, meaning that the bytes of at 0 index indicates 1 through 7 of the 5 are the bytes of the 0 index incidents, and 1 through 7 of the key. When the static hard-coded encryption key has the following constant value. This is the encryption key for the snake hard-coded. And when stored in the Windows registry, the encryption key is the classical class name associated with the following key, which is this, follow this path. The sequence are known to be used NTFS again, or FAT16 files systems, and this is the numbers for that. For develop the following test vectors illustrates the encryption of the first given header, which start with the EB5290, which is the plain text, and the test vector using the cast 128 with the default key shown above, which is this. And for constructed as described, this is the for described with the header occurs at the beginning of the 512 byte block of the covert store. The last detection we can do it after analysis is a memory analysis. There's also some advantages and disadvantages with the memory analysis. The advantages are high confidence as memory provides the greatest level of visibility into the snake's behavior and artifacts. Disadvantages, potential impact on the system stabilities, difficult scalability. Capturing and analyzing the memory of the system will be the most effective approach in the snake detection because it bypasses the many of the behaviors that snake employs to hide itself. So based on the detections, as I said, again, the memory analysis give the best results, but again, there are some let's say advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages is potential impact on the system stability is difficult for scalability, but the best solution you can do is to do memory analysis. It's gonna give you the better result. So this is the end of my presentation. I passed my time a lot, I believe, 18 minutes. If it was too technical, I'm sorry, because I tried to show you one of the most amazing and advanced malware they stated by the CISA to show you how threat intelligence and threat investigation important to develop better strategies. That's why it is important we start our threat investigation with the different tools. But the threat intelligence platform already you provide you this. You don't have to do this because even the big teams, big organizations, they don't have teams to do this. They don't want to do this. That's why they try to do this outsources. And this is what we are trying to do for our customers to be more predictive. Because why I wanted to take the snake malware as a challenge for me, because it is too advanced. And I want to, instead of analyze, maybe we analyze any regular malware that couldn't be too challenging for us. Because with this last malware, they changed the threat actors. I believe it was the APT28 fancy bears from Russia. They work with the FSB. They changed something with this malware, with the snake malware. That's why I wanted to analyze with you this malware. Of course, analyzing this kind of malware take a lot of time. 1 hour is not enough. But I just want to show you a little bit how this threat hunting, how this threat investigation we are doing in behind. I hope you find it useful for you. If you have any questions, I can try to answer, or thank you for your time for joining me today. Is there any question? All right, we don't have any question, I guess. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I try to again explain why threat intelligence and investigation are very important to leveraging your cybersecurity. There is one, I guess. Thank you, Alex. No, thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. I just tried to show you why threat intelligence and threat investigation are very important. Threat hunting. We have to be more proactive. More than proactive, we have to be predictive. We have to know what's going on because we have to be one step ahead of the threat actors because they are right now 10 steps ahead of us. To be honest, if you compare the defense and offense, I can tell you based on my monthly analysis, they're far ahead of us. They're really changing threat actors. They're always come up with the new ideas. new techniques, strategies. What can I tell you? We have to understand them as a defensive part. To be understand to them, we have to think like them. We have to think from their perspective, from black hat hackers' perspective. We have to understand how they trying to, when they find the organization to hack it, how they behave, what they do. So that's the thing I wanted to show you a little bit today. Thank you again for joining me today. You guys take care of yourself. I again thank you. I invite you all to the next Cyber Watch series. To us, it's gonna be in July. Please join us for the next thing next month. You guys take care of yourself. Have a good one.